Alright guys, so this week we're going to teach you how to splice an eye into the end of this rope. I was a lineman for several years before I took a job in the office. A lot of people have commented on my hat. I work at a rural electric company, and part of being a lineman is knowing how to rig and how to rig things to make your job easier. Sometimes if you don't rig things correctly, then you can get yourself in a bind, and it's just a lot harder. So one of the things that I like to do if I have a rope is weave an eye in the end of it. That way it's easier to tie over top of something. A lot of times you can just slide it through and loop it over. So first things first, this is just a cotton rope. I've tied a knot in the end to keep it from unraveling. I'm going to untie that knot. But before I get started, I'm going to come down about probably 6 inches or so from the end and put a wrap of electrical tape. And what this will do, this will allow me to separate these strands just down to this point here. And get the stick. That way it'll kind of keep it together down past this point. Alright, so have me a wrap of electrical tape down probably 6 inches or so. Then I'm going to untie this knot here. Now this being a cotton rope, it's going to want to fray out. If this was a nylon or a synthetic rope, we could take a lighter and singe the ends of these. But since this is a cotton rope, I'm going to wrap it with some electrical tape here and keep these ends from fraying out. Now when I first started being an apprentice, you know, some of the old timers taught me this, and I'm very appreciative of it. Actually, a gentleman by the name of Henry Becht is the one that taught me how to do this. And to this day at the co-op, there might be a few guys know how to do it, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure of any that took the time to learn this. Now, I'm satisfied that a couple of them know how. I just can't think of it right now. I always kind of like to learn how to tie knots and how to do things. I don't know why, it's just something that always interested me. Alright, so I've got my ends taped up. What I'll do is I'll just unweave this or unwind this rope down to my tape that I wrapped up. Alright, that's going to leave me with 3 ends to my rope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my loop size, and let's just say that's roughly 8 inches or so. And I'm going to take this center line here, and I'm just going to spread this rope apart, and I'm going to insert it in between the strands, and I'm going to pull it all the way up. Alright. Alright, so now that I got that one, I'll take this second rope and I'll spread these out. And where this one come between these two strands, I'm going to take this next rope in between these two strands and slide it through. Now the hardest part to do this is to get started right. And once you get started, you're good to go. Alright, so I've got these first two in, and you want to come out in a different spot. So this one comes out between these two, this one comes out between these two. So this last one needs to come out between these two. So in order to do that, we'll wrap it around like so. Okay. Alright, so when you have it right, you can see that each strand comes out in a different section of the rope. So in order to get started, you want to go over one rope and under the next. So we'll grab this first strand and we'll go over this strand and under this strand and pull it through. Then we'll rotate the rope and we'll grab our next strand and we want to go over this strand and under this strand. Split the rope and we'll pull that strand through. And we'll just keep working these ropes or these strands up the rope. And you gotta be sure and pick up the right strand. This one's lagging behind, so we'll go over this and under this, split the rope and pull it through. You can kind of see how it's weaving itself up the rope and pull this little strand out. Then we'll rotate back around, pick up our first rope, go over and under, split the rope and pull it through. And we'll rotate around, grab our next strand, and we'll go over this one, under this one. Then we'll catch our bottom one back up, get this one out of the way. We'll go over this strand, under this strand. There is to it. You just keep doing that. You keep working them one at a time. Over and under. Over and under. And every once in a while, I'll take that rope. I'll kind of roll it back and forth in between my hands. You can see how it makes it lay in there real nice. You come back and you go over and under. And you go over and under. You just keep working this rope up through here. It don't take long. The hardest thing is getting started. Alright, so now I've got this all weaved up through here for about 6 inches or so. I'm just going to take my hands and kind of smooth this knot out a little bit. And then the next thing I'll do, I'll take my knife, put my foot through my loop, and I'm just going to cut these tails off, and I'll cut them flush right here. It'd sharpen my knife a little bit. Take my tape off here so I don't get any sticky residue on it. And there you go. Take my hands and roll it a little bit. If you want to, you can take a torch or a lighter and singe those or burn those ends off. But then you've got a loop weaved into your rope, and you can pull, and that ain't gonna come out for nothing. As a matter of fact, the harder you pull, the tighter this gets. It's pretty handy. A lot of times, if you want to put it over top of something and pull, I've had something like this on my four-wheeler before. If you got a ball on your four-wheeler, you can just hook it over top of your ball, tie the other end off to whatever you're pulling if you need to drag somebody out of the mud or whatever. And if you got a heavy enough rope, it'll help you out. So this little tip I picked up over the years, I hope this helps you out. If you have any interest in other knots that are easy to tie and useful in rigging, just let me know. Drop a comment below. I can show you how to tie a square knot, and a bowline is another knot that I like to use a lot. I kind of like knowing this stuff. I realize not a lot of people are interested in it, but if you have some interest, just drop it in the comment below, and maybe we'll have a video on how to tie them. Until then, we'll catch you next time on Perry Fray's Outdoors.